Alright, besties, this is me, your host, Hot Mess, and this is Mochi as Diego Rivera, and me as Frida Kahlo. And as you might have guessed it, besties, today we are going to be talking about Frida Kahlo. Not only was she the woman, she was the icon, she was the legend, she was the myth. She was the original influencer. She was the original drama queen. She was the original painter of pain. What else do you want? I know y'all have seen her face on mugs, tote bags, coffee mugs, and also hipster tattoos. But if you think she's just an aesthetic, honey, sit down and let's find out. Alright, so let's talk about it. So this woman lived. She was the original unbothered, moisturized, stay in your lane queen. Except instead of taking a bunch of selfies, she actually painted herself. And she painted herself over 50 times. A lot of people would say, ooh, what a conceited lady. But it was not because she was conceited. It was because, as she would say, I paint myself because I'm often alone and because I am the subject I know best. Makes sense. Her life was a roller coaster of tragic accidents, forbidden romances, unhinged drama, and a level of resilience that makes your gym excuses look weak. So let's buckle up because this is the most chaotic, heartbreaking, and inspiring story you'll hear all put together in one. So baby Frida was already that girl since she was like a youngster. She was born in 1907 in Guayacan, Mexico, but she would tell people that she was born in 1910. And no, as some of you might think, maybe she forgot or she wanted to look younger. It was not that. She was a genius. She wouldn't forget. But she told people that her birth date was 1910 because that was the start of the Mexican Revolution. And she was like, my life, a part of history. Duh. Makes sense. Now, little Frida was not your average little girl. While other girls were out there playing with dolls and braiding each other's hairs, little Frida was out here wrestling boys, climbing trees, swimming like it was nobody's business, and probably giving unsolicited feminist speeches before she could even write. That was her. But then again, life was not about to let her have a cute, carefree childhood. And a lot of times one does it, am I right? But then, unfortunately, as life would have it, at 6 years old, Frida got polio. And it left her right leg a lot thinner and weaker than the other one. And because children are ruthless, they bullied her and they would call her Frida Pegleg. But did this let her crush her spirit? Absolutely not. Instead of crying about it, she was like, oh, you guys think I'm weak. Watch me become the best at sports. And then she did. She did. And she swam. She played soccer. She boxed. Imagine being so petty that you become an athlete out of spite. A queen in the making. And then after all that, came the bus accident, the bus crash, aka Why Does Life Hate Frida? So fast forward to 1925, Frida was 18 years old. She was dating this guy named Alejandro. But she had dreams of becoming a doctor, as a lot of us don't. And she was vibing, thinking life was gonna get real good. No. One day she hopped on a bus and that bus crashed. Not a little fender bender, not a little thingamajiggy, no. We're talking final destination level catastrophe. A metal handrail went through her body. Like straight up impaled her. Straight up impaled her. Like, let's actually think about that. Straight up impaled a human. A metal handrail. Right? What do you guys think? Her spine? Broken. Pelvis shattered. Ribs, legs also destroyed. Doctors looked at her and said, yeah, probably not gonna make it. And then Frida looked at them and she was like, hold my tequila. And surely she survived, as a lot of us do. But then barely, as a lot of us do. She was stuck in bed for months in a full body cast. Imagine. She was probably thinking, well, I probably can't be a doctor no more. Then now what? What now? Let's go to the page. Her parents, being absolute real ones, a lot of us could take notes, they gave her a mirror and a paintbrush. And since she had literally nothing else to do, Frida was like, I'll just become one of the most legendary artists of all time. That's fine. And that's how it all began. So after surviving polio, after surviving bullying, after surviving the car accident, after surviving the metal handrail impaling her, she met Diego Rivera, which is, as I would like to describe him, is a human red flag she just could not resist. Relatable. Am I right? Am I right? Sadly, but am I right? I think, at least for me, I think I'm right. Regardless, for Frida, at this point, she was physically healing, sort of. But at the same time, she was taking art very seriously. And she decided to shoot her shot at Diego, who at the time was actually a very famous Mexican painter. Now, Diego was a lot. Ladies, imagine if your toxic ex, who is 20 years older, weighed 300 pounds, and had zero loyalty. Put down in the comments if you've been there. Put down in the comments if you haven't been there. Let's see who's been there, who hasn't. And let's percentage that out. But regardless, that was Diego. That was Diego, her toxic walking red flag. But Frida, sadly, as a lot of us do, she fell hard for him. And despite everyone telling her, girl, this man is not it. Hashtag relatable. She married him anyway. Hashtag relatable. And boy, was it messy. Hashtag relatable. Diego was out here cheating left and right. I wanted to do 3 for comedy, but the 4th is still relatable. But he cheated like it wasn't even a secret. He had affairs with actresses, models, and sadly, Frida's own sister, which is not in the script, but I will open up and tell you guys the real tea. It led up to a divorce, and then after a year of being without each other, they decided to get married again because they really loved each other, and a lot of us want to maybe judge. Let's not. Judge-free zone. It's my channel. Anyway, Frida did not sit here and cry in a corner. Oh no. She was like, oh, we're doing this. This is what we're doing. This is you. I am picking up what you are putting down. And then she proceeded to have her own affairs, and not just with men, but then she did with women as well. Scandalous. Yes, you heard me. Yes, Frida was bisexual before it was cool, and she was not even shy about it. At the time, people were shy about it, but not her. She was not shy about the unibrow, and she was not shy about the mustache. But she was not shy about her bisexuality in the 1920s, which is real diva status. She had flings with artists, politicians, and even freaking Josephine Baker. Now, Frida was not out here painting little trees and flowers and little happy sceneries with gardens and roses. No. She's out here painting pain. Now, let's talk about it. Take the 2 Fridas. I'm gonna try and post it up here somewhere. The editing skills I don't have. One version of her is in a fancy European dress looking sad, while the other is in a traditional Mexican outfit looking equally sad. Sadly, relatable. Their hearts are literally exposed and connected by a bleeding vein. Translation. One version of me is dying, and so is the other one. Or the broken column. Let's talk about that painting, which I'll try to post up here with my non-existing editing skills. On the broken column, that is where she paints herself covered in nails with her spine literally cracked open like it's an ancient iPhone. Subtle? No. Powerful? Yes. Now, while her health was in shambles, spirits still unbothered. By the 1940s, Frida was famous, but her health, trash. She had had over 30 surgeries at this point. She was in and out of the hospital, and eventually, sadly, she lost her right leg. And then in 1953, she had her first solo exhibition in Mexico. She was so sick she couldn't walk. A lot of us would probably stay home. A lot of us would probably just feel a bad stomachache and stay home. But you know what she did, being the iconic diva queen legend mama she is? She rolled up in a hospital bed. Yes, they literally carried her, rolled her into her gallery in her hospital bed so she could party laying down, tequila in one hand, and singing with the mariachi band. Yes, that's how it's done. So she was the original girl boss and the original CEO of Resilience. I think we can all agree with that at this point of my little YouTube video. So final chapter. In 1954, at just 47 years old, Frida passed away. Officially, it was a pulmonary embolism, but some think it was an intentional overdose. Intentional or not, we'll never know, but her final diary entry said this: I hope the exit is joyful, and I hope to never return. And that, my friends, is how you drop the mic on life. Frida, as we know her today. Oh, sorry, I've been covering Diego. Okay, so Frida's her unibrow power is just remembered. She's everywhere. She's symbol of feminism, strength, Mexican pride. She's the reason unibrows are still kind of cool. So beyond the merch, the t-shirts, the endless Instagrams, Frida's real legacy is this. She proved that you can be broken, but still powerful. That pain doesn't have to destroy you, but it can make you immortal. And only you can change the power of your energy. So next time you're having a bad day, just remember Frida Kahlo survived polio, a bus accident, a metal handrail impalement, Diego Rivera, cheating scandals with her sister, losing her leg, and then she still threw parties from her hospital bed. So yes, Frida, you are the absolute queen. We stand you and we salute you. Now I shall go paint.
Last but not least, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times.